I mean, yeah, I mean, how do you guys get Slavoj Žižek on? That's a pretty fucking big deal.
Oh, so it was actually like last year or something. We had, like Douglas Lane from Zero Books on, and yeah, I've met Doug in London a couple of times. Well, yeah, he came to London, and I like met him, and like I have mutual friends with him and stuff. And yeah, he came on the show, and I think it was directly after recording the show. I asked him if he had a contact for Zizek because I think Zizek had been on his show a couple of weeks prior, and he gave me. I don't even think I should be saying this story, so maybe you shouldn't put it. Maybe you shouldn't put it in the thing.
We
But yeah,
can take it out. We can take it
he
out.
gave me Zizek's contact, and I emailed Zizek, and he didn't get back to me for like a year. Like he
Oh,
said,
no shit.
yeah, he was like busy. I emailed him initially, so I was like slightly deflated. But then I prompted our ex co-host to email him again, and he said yes. And yeah, that's how we got him on.
Wow. Nice. But it took him, it took a year of him ducking
Yeah.
you guys out.
Yeah, with guests, it's always difficult, like because the media space is so like contentious and clout based and stuff. So you just have to kind of shoot your shot and not take it too personally if someone says no to you, because it could be for like a myriad of different reasons. So yeah.
Right. That's so funny too. It's like it's always like people wondering like, oh, am I gonna get canceled from coming on this like tiny like niche internet podcast or whatever? Am I gonna lose my job?
Yeah.
But no, Slavoj, they've tried canceling him a few times actually. Shit. Over like the Hillary and Trump thing where he said, he like, preferred Trump or some shit in 2016, which is Chad fucking all the way back then. And I think he like said the N-word one time.
Yeah.
But and like he gets shit for that, which is kind of stupid.
Yeah, but it's like it's always silly, and the thing is, there's been like a huge like campaign launched against him for years in the left, because he's sort of always had this irreverent stance, and he's always been. I mean, even though I think he could have pushed further, he's always sort of pushed against the grain of that kind of like liberal consensus in that sense. So they've always like gone after him, but that's what the left tends to do to its own. It tends to demoralize and like suck the spirit out of its own, and like he's the only like one of the few like left intellectuals who I would want to go to a bar with or like actually hang out with, because he has like a spirit and like a personality.
He's genuinely a cool person.
Yeah.
Seems like, yeah.
He has libido, and like the left has like no libidinal energy or character.
That's because he reads Lacan. That's where he is.
Yeah. Like no libidinal energy, no character beyond this sort of fervor for moral crusades, and it's tiresome and boring.
You know what? I think that's why people look at him as like a left wing, like Jordan Peterson kind of type thing, like father figure type shit. Because not only is he like really cold with it, with the political and cultural analysis, but he's also can come off as a genuine, like someone that you would genuinely, want to hang out with. And like maybe, or someone to like look up to. But no, that is funny about the N-word thing, and he was getting shit for that. I think that was like 2014 or some shit. But it's really good. And I think you even said like whenever he came on, like you were thinking that he thought you were some kind of like woke, like black college girl or something, maybe, younger black woman who's gonna like, fucking bash him or whatever, or, like give him shit. And of course, he, fucking ended up saying that you're cool. But it's really good to see fellow, people of color in general, fucking, or mixed race people, or fucking black people, or just people that are non-white in the post left or whatever the fuck, not no one likes to use that term really, the post left, but in this little kind of like more niche subcultural thing, you know, I think it's definitely good. Like, I'm not into the identity politics shit, but there is something to say about it's good to have representation. And Breonna Joy Gray was talking about this fucking with Cornel West, how like black political commentators kind of like gatekeep like black public opinion. And even like, you know, gatekeeping, you know, this critical race theory kind of cult shit. I mean, they even gatekeep what the idea of blackness even is, you know, when Biden was like, oh, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You know what I mean? Like, so, no, yeah, I mean, I think it's, you know, Beyond's really great too. I mean, she's kind of more on the lib side too, but she's definitely really cool fucking kind of on the post left shit or whatever you want to call it, class stuff. But no, yeah, I do think it's good to have like non-white people, even though I'm not into the identity politics shit, you know, I still think it's good to have like non-white representation.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that as well, but I also think that like it's good to see people in general feeling unconstrained and sort of able to express their opinions without having like labels put on them. And that's kind of like, I guess, milieu that I'm sort of attempting to enter, is one that's sort of more in general in terms of like the discourse, and one that isn't necessarily too obsessed with like labels and stuff. And you know, it's interesting to be in that kind of space as a Black person. Like it's definitely interesting, but like I feel way freer among people who don't do the whole like liberal piety shit around race.
Right.
I even feel much freer with people who may be contentious or even cheeky around the subject of race than I do around these like freakish like piety zombies on the liberal left who like love to like engage in these like sick race play fantasies.
Yeah.
With whichever like Black person like.
It's like, well, dude, Get Out. He nailed it in that movie. It's like, dude, that movie came out like what? Damn, 2016 or some shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Get Out. Yeah, I called it so long ago.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, it's been interesting, like floating around this political sphere for I think I've been doing it for like 3-4 years now. But yeah, like it's been pretty interesting. But like, yeah, I definitely feel a lot like freer and less constrained among normies than I do when I'm like circling around the left, which has always been, it's never been a very welcoming space for anybody who like has like critical faculties. That's like, and that's not necessarily like tied to race. You know, I feel like there are a lot of people who feel the same kind of alienation that we feel, and I think it's a positive thing that we're all talking to each other.
For sure.
And I hope that we continue to, and I hope that it grows and like, you know, becomes normalized.
Yeah, right. Of course, like, yeah, that's the tiny little bit of hope that I have that like drives me to do any of this shit, is that, yeah, I hope, or that I have this hope that, you know, it will grow, and that, yeah, I see it like every day. I see like more and more people like coming around to certain shit. But yeah, Get Out came out February fucking 2017. I just looked up. But oh well, yeah, you know, fucking Class Redux Killer, who I just had on not too long ago. He what we were talking about was like, or no, this is what our friend Adam Lear, who I had when I had him on, we were talking about he has like a Black artist friend or whatever, and he's kind of, I guess, on the anti-woke shit or whatever the fuck, you know, anti-identity politics type shit. And you know, so in the New York art world, they're all liberal. They all really hate that, you know. And the thing what we were talking about was, you almost get even more, they, you know, like the liberals hate you even more if you're saying shit that goes against their ideology and you're Black.
Yeah, for sure.
See, like when you're Black and you're saying it, or you're just non-white, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing, when they can't hit you with the white supremacist bullshit, it starts to,
Well,
so
like
whenever,
in my experience, I've seen a lot of the like, because I feel, I mean, in my opinion, like the liberals and the liberal left are like far more latently racist than they accuse
yes,
other people
exactly.
of being. Like they're the ones with all the baggage of latent racism that they sort of hide behind this sort of piety, and they take this very disgusting like paternalistic stance towards like minorities, and they think that they're helping you and that they know what's best for you and they know how you should be thinking, and when you step out of line it's like that narcissism like malfunctions. It's like they like perceive it as like a narcissistic injury, so they have to punish, and they definitely like reserve their worst forms of vitriol for like minorities step out of line of what they perceive like a minority should be or what a minority thinks. And yeah, it's really disgusting and it's really obvious. Like it happens to me all the time. Like especially like on Twitter and stuff, I'll say something and then a million like white like awfuls, like these horrible like liberal feminists are like screaming at me and calling me. Some of them have even called me like racial epithets. Like
Oh
once
God,
you
yes, yeah.
move once you move away from the prescribed line, it's your fair game
You're
basically for
fair
any,
game,
yeah,
yes.
you're fair game for any kind of like bullshit that they want to like throw at you.
I mean, yeah, I mean, literally with the internet shit, people would just literally say like bold-faced lies and come up with just fake shit about you, or
Mhm,
especially whenever they can't just call you a racist because
mhm,
you're not white.
mhm.
So, yeah, it's
Although
fucking
they
gnarly
do
because
try.
that's the thing is like they think they're like morally just, but these are the real fascists here. These people are the ones that are seriously probably the most violent and vile people on the political internet shit is the libs right now.
Yeah, for sure. And like they think that they're, like you said, they think that they're morally justified. So like anything they do to
Anything goes.
anyone, yeah, it goes. Everybody's fair game in the war of all against all. And it's like pretty toxic, but like I don't know, because I've been in the media sphere for a while now. I'm starting to evolve like a thicker skin, and I also am very much kind of like desensitized to a lot of it at this point as well. And I also I find it humorous now more than anything. Like maybe the first couple of times it happened, I felt terrified. I felt like betrayed or reprimanded or whatever. But like now, not so much. Like I just laugh at it because it's humorous, and like most sane people like most sane people realize that it's insane. And also once someone becomes like persona non grata on the left, they immediately gain like way more credibility with like normal people who aren't
Oh
like
yes, exactly.
clinically insane. So yeah.
Well, of course. I mean, I can imagine that. Being a fucking younger black woman talking her shit on the internet with no restrictions. Um, that's the thing right now. That's what they're fucking trying to come for podcasts and shit, and they're trying to say like podcasts are the new like disinformation platforms or whatever, and we have to start cracking down on podcasts. Um, but yeah, I mean, um that's the thing with like Amy, who you had on recently, like these people, yeah, they become like I don't know, it's of course it's like these images, these like symbols of them get kind of like put out there, and they're kind of completely made up by like the left and all that bullshit. But you know what, I might not have ever even know who Amy was if I didn't find her through people hating her.
Yeah, they make
So
everybody they hate famous.
they make everybody to hate famous, exactly. Like they can't
Yeah.
stop making content about them, right wingers and all that shit. Jordan
Yeah.
Peterson, remember what BreadTube and shit back in the, well, back, it feels like ancient history now, but like fucking like 2 or 3 years ago, all the JP vids, all the Jordan Peterson
Oh,
BreadTube
I
videos.
when I was a fucking like bread tart, I made a Jordan Peterson video.
Everybody did.
But the thing is, the Jordan Peterson video I did even back then was more of a critique of the left than it was of Jordan Peterson.
Right.
Even though I don't really agree with like a lot of the stuff I said in it now, back then I still saw these pathologies on the left, And I also hated how much they fixated on these like right-wing figures, and that had nothing to do with like the everyday needs and desires of like most working people, and this sort of specter of fascism that they were sort of drumming up in order to legitimize themselves and in order to sort of create this like market feedback loop. Like I saw all of that and thought it was incredibly pernicious, but I guess I wasn't unaware of how pernicious it would actually get.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's been a fucking wild ride for me out in these streets for sure.
Out in these streets.
Yeah.
Out in the media political game.
Yep.
Um yeah, I mean that's kind of that's the thing is like I feel like there are like if you can literally count, like I can probably count like 10 podcasts, like less than 10 podcasts that are honestly like really doing a good job with talking about the shit right now. But yeah, what do speaking of Breonna Jolie Gray, fucking what do you think about the Virgil Texas shit?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really care.
I don't care either. I mean,
I
fuck it,
don't really
let's not
care.
even,
It's not, I mean, if you want my honest appraisal, I think that the like it's putting me in the position where I have to defend Virgil.
I know, right?
I don't even really like
I
Virgil.
don't even like him
much.
either.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is the same thing Red Scare was saying. It's like,
Yeah.
the worst part about this cancel culture bullshit is that we have to defend these rather unlikable people.
Yeah. I feel like I feel the accusation seemed somewhat frivolous and vague.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that, like it sort of was like, I don't want to get too much into the weeds of it or whatever, but like, yeah, it seems somewhat vague and and at the same time, like, I don't know Virgil, I don't know this person, I don't know why the fuck I'm supposed to care about any of it. Like, it sounds like it's
8
between
years ago,
Virgil.
right?
Yeah, it sounds like it's between Virgil and this woman and whatever, legal recourse is or even if there isn't any legal recourse, like, who cares? Like, it's just like fundamentally unlikable people being fundamentally unlikable, and what else is new? Water is wet.
Yeah.
Literally, that's all I think about that.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty easy shit. I mean, but like on fucking I don't even think I was gonna mention it, and then I like heard Red Scared talking about it. I like tuned into one of their episodes. I haven't listened to them in a long time, and like tuned in one of their episodes not too long ago. But their Virgil Texas one. Oh yeah, she Anna Katchen, she was like, oh Virgil's like too autistic to even like do anything like that, or like to like do anything malicious or whatever. But it is kind of weird too, like if you really think about these internet people, man, and these like he comes from like weird Twitter, and these fucking weirdos, Twitter and internet people, whatever the fuck, but political people, the internet shit in general, a lot of these people are fucking autistic and weird. And I met Virgil Texas at a party literally like 2 months ago in New York. When I was in New York, fucking I even did whippets with him a little bit. He had whippets, and I like asked if I can have a few, and I like tried making conversation with him, but he was like kind of be acting too cool for me or whatever.
Oh,
but
God.
yeah, and that was so crazy to see this shit go down recently after I just met him fucking not too long ago.
Yeah, well, I do know it does, this sort of thing does attract a certain kind of
A
personality,
certain kind of
people,
autist.
especially the people who are very successful, if you know what I mean. Like, there are a handful of people who I could say are like incredibly successful, who are like well-adjusted, but the vast majority are, who are not well-adjusted, because it takes a certain, interpersonal, antisocial, proclivity in order to be successful in media
In this
sphere.
kind of
Yeah,
even having the time to even be on Twitter or read all this bullshit is very like antisocial.
like for me,
people.
I can't do that. Like, I just can't be
Same.
bothered, and I don't have the proclivity, and I also like to live at life and enjoy the people in my life and stuff. So Like, I don't have time for that shit. And like being like psychotically online like that would require so much Adderall for me.
I know,
And
right?
I
These
don't,
people must just be on so much fucking speed. It's fucked
yeah,
up.
I
Who
would
the
need so
fuck is
much like
supplying these
cocaine.
motherfuckers?
I would need so much cocaine or like a ton of Adderall to do it. And I'm like an anxious like person, so that wouldn't really work well with my temperament. So yeah, like I don't think that I could. And then also not just that, like the sort of obfuscating the truth, like lying to your audiences, you know, riding whatever wave is the most trendy, like not really having any principles, not having a moral compass. Like people, like in order to get super successful, it's either you do it through sheer populist luck, in the sense that you really hit the zeitgeist and resonate with people in a way that's unignorable, and you're offering something that's like truly novel and engaging in that sense, or you do it the, you know, media striver climber way, who, you know, where it's like, you know, you're knifing everyone and like betraying your principles at every turn in order to secure a position. And like that's kind of what this whole online political sphere is made up of.
Oh
It's
my
made up of
god,
like
yes.
two very talented people who really were in line with the zeitgeist and have very novel and, you know, insightful things to say. And then it's made up again mostly like other sociopaths who are not that, and have to sort of resort to antisocial means in order to establish themselves. So of course it like attracts like pernicious personalities, narcissists, people with BPD, like personality disordered weirdos, and
Obsessive
sex pests.
people.
Yeah, and like
Sex
sex
pests,
pests as well.
exactly.
Like, of course, it's gonna attract sex pests. Like, it's a pretty much a given. Like, there's probably like 80 like FBI dossiers worth of material in BreadTube alone.
Oh my
Like,
god.
fuck
Yeah, you
knows
know,
what's
like
going on.
The Vosh shit in his
Yeah,
Discord.
yeah.
What the
Oh
fuck
god.
is going on? These people are
Yeah,
sick.
yeah. Like,
These people are
seriously.
sick.
Seriously. But that's like the media sphere, and like for the most part I try to put a lot of distance between myself and it, and mainly just focus on people who I think are interesting or novel in some way, or people who I genuinely have like affinity for, and mostly just stick to my platforms and like focus on that stuff, because like one could be insane otherwise, and maybe it's career self-sabotage for me to do so, but I don't think I could be caught constantly in like the take wins and like, you know, trying to like fucking, you know, stab people in the back or like other people's assholes to get some kind of like doorway in or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
That totally happened. Like like when I got into this shit, I mean, I'm not really too deep or whatever, but we just started fucking not even a year ago. Um, and we don't put out as much as we should. We're going to start putting out more though, or whatever. But we started like a year ago, and we got like pretty involved in networks like fairly quickly, comparably to anyone else who just jumped into this shit. And we're totally not really involved in this weird internet shit either. So like a lot of this shit is so new to us, and like we're just learning as we go. But like I would see, you know, what they do to Amy, what they do to Michael Tracy and shit on Twitter, people that were literally friends with him, you know, and how they turn around and fucking,
Mm-hmm.
you know, do, you know, like Michael Brooks and Michael Tracy on Sam Cedar, fucking just these fucking crazy moments of like black pilling realization, that this is like this media personality shit and this media career shit is completely like poisoned and toxic, and it's like we're not going to get anywhere because you have to make money off this shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know, sometimes it's like, yeah, what's the point of even trying to do this whole anti-lit or whatever the fuck, you know, whatever kind of, you know, what us and some of, you know, people that we associate with are doing, like what's the point of even doing it, you know? Like a lot of us, or especially me, you know, I hate having to work and support, you know, like this. I don't make nearly enough off this to do it full time. You know what I mean? So it's a weird thing. Like how do you make your money off that shit?
Yeah, it's a hard nut to crack. Like it's shit. Like it's either you resonate, like I said, or you become a sociopath. It's that. It's those. That's like the dichotomy there.
That's a fork in the road. That's the split. You
Yeah,
have to decide which way. Yeah.
it's either you try your best to resonate with people and you try to make yourself novel and engaging and interesting, and you know, differentiate yourself and really sort of like add something to the culture, add something to, you know, the zeitgeist, or you just be you just are like a sociopath. That's the only, those are the only real ways, especially now because the media environment is so oversaturated. You're either offering something novel, or you're being a wave that's like already established, if you know what I mean, and attempting to sort of mimic and ape it in the hopes that you'll receive some residual like glory. And you know, really and truly, I think that the best advice that I could give anyone is to just be like unapologetically and unabashedly and unashamedly like yourself,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you know, not try to sort of fit in anywhere or ape anything else. Like make it, let it happen off the back of your own merit rather than being linked to some kind of other thing, if you know what I mean.
Right. I mean, no, that's so true, but like, of course, like people say that, like people think that might just be some kind of BS quote or whatever, be yourself. But really, in this kind of media personality game, political commentator game or whatever, um, you really have to like distinguish yourself and fucking, I just don't think people are getting in trouble enough either to like, even people that look at themselves as like pretty like, oh yeah, like I'm just like the canceled Chad or whatever, like I don't give a fuck. They still are so scared to like do anything, or like
Yeah,
I've
because it's
had
like
friends, I
people.
have I have some of my friends on, and like, they're like, they even kind of adopted this into their personality. I have, like, everybody kind of has, that's like kind of how you have to live with this shit, is you can't just have all these people hate you, and you have to kind of do something with it mentally or whatever. But you kind of adopt the kind of like, oh yeah, I'm the canceled Chad or whatever, fuck it, like I'm uncancelable. But even those people that think they're, or like they're always talking like, oh yeah, I don't give a shit, I'm canceled, fuck, or whatever. Those people are still like scared shitless of like saying certain things about people, or like making me like take out and edit the episode and take out certain shit. um People, yeah, like fucking people are so, I'm pretty sure you were even talking about this. I mean, we've talked about this in our show too, but you're talking about this in our latest episode, how like there's never been a time in history where people have been so scared shitless to say anything that goes against the dominant ideology.
Yeah,
Um
and the
and get in
reason why,
trouble.
yeah, because it comes with massive social consequences nowadays. And I mean, people could literally lose their jobs, like you said. Like even some of the most quote unquote based people that I know are people who also day jobs, and you know, they're what they're doing. It's such a shame, and it makes me want to cry because what they're doing is adding such richness and texture
Oh
and
my god.
insight to the discourse, but it's almost unsustainable because they don't make enough
You don't
from
make enough
doing it.
money off it.
Yeah, and also you're also risking whatever livelihood you may already have
In real life,
in real life because these fucking
sickos will
assholes,
confine you in real
yeah,
life and shit and fuck with you.
they'll come in
Yeah,
and they've done it to me. They've done it to so many different
they've
people.
done it. They try doing it to me, but I try to keep these two worlds separate.
Yeah,
So
it's
anytime I'm
difficult though.
tired of this internet bullshit, I can just like turn it off. And I have people in my real life who don't even have no idea I even do that dumb shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's the best way to be, but like
I
not
know, right?
everyone started with that kind of anonymity. And you know, especially in the age of the internet, like, and the, pretty crafty in terms of how they dox and do this and that and blah blah blah. You know, it can come with some serious consequences, and that's one thing I did notice is that like
No, this shit is literally dangerous.
BreadTube,
Getting
like
on
the,
getting on the internet and saying what you want is no joke. It
yeah,
can have serious real world consequences.
but the one thing that I've noticed is that like the BreadTube kind of milieu of like supporters and stuff are way more open-handed in terms of their support of creators, because they think that they're literally saving the world by
Oh my
supporting these
God, right.
like fucking idiots online, and that they're stopping fascism or whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
Where
They're fucking watering down the fash pipeline, the
yeah,
YouTube the fash
exactly.
pipeline.
And that's like the pyramid scheme that has been used to basically extract like Patreon money and all kinds of
Yes,
stuff from
yes,
these
it's a fucking
people.
pyramid scheme.
Yeah, it's a pyramid scheme. And then basically, but the thing is, within the dissident milieu, people aren't necessarily that open-handed with people in terms of like support. Um, and I think I think it's kind of a shame, because like the people who are doing the dissident work are like getting shit on and getting fucked up, and like maybe potentially even losing employment to enrich the discourse, but for nothing. They're not
Who I think
receiving
about,
anything.
who comes to mind is like Chapo Trap House and the Perfume Nationalist podcast. Those two
Yeah,
podcasts.
exactly.
Chapo fucking literally makes like $117,000 fucking dollars a month.
Yeah.
And the Perfume Nationalist is a way better podcast. They're way more culturally dude, the fucking Perfume Nationalist is a way more influential fucking podcast, and it hasn't even been out as long. I'm pretty sure Chapo's been doing it for way longer than he has, and the Perfume Nationalist literally doesn't even make a quarter of what he makes, probably a quarter of what fucking Chapo makes. And guess what? Will Menaker is a fucking New York. He's fucking. His dad used to be like a writer for the New York Times. So, dude, like my parents literally haven't even been to college. They don't even know shit about politics at all, let alone like a New York Times fucking writer in New York. I'm not even from New York. You know what I mean? And
Well, that's what they're vested in. They're vested in like pushing bourgeois ideology, like, and trying to kind of codify bourgeois ideology as state ideology, so that they continue to sort of protect their class from downward mobility, which is like what this whole left kind of like media milieu is really about. And I mean, and the whole left media and political kind of fronts are basically just like fronts for progressive capitalism at the end of the day. They're these people are like the foot soldiers of progressive capital. But even then, like in the dissident milieu, a lot of us, like not all of us agree on everything politically either, which I like. I like that we have people from all kinds of different political like backgrounds.
right, you'll never have everybody agree on
Yeah,
everything.
you have everyone from like rightoids to like disaffected Marxoids like me, to like your bog standard liberals, to whatever the fuck, like, and nobody's trying to police each other. We do disagree, but like it's not in the sense where we're trying to police or apply social pressure on each other to conform with each other's like beliefs systems or anything like that, which has been really like refreshing to experience after being sort of caught in the hive mind of like the liberal left in that sense. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. But yeah, I do hope that like that like more people learn about these shows and these people, and I also appreciate that there are voices out there who are like challenging the official narratives, because it's not easy to. People who are doing it, I think, deserve a lot more regard than they're
I
getting.
know, right? It's
Yeah.
totally like I think we're gonna look back on these people and really like appreciate it. But like right
Yeah.
now it's like totally like the Wild West of the podcasting. Like at home, make your own media career in your bedroom type
Yeah.
shit. Like this is so new, it's so new, and I think we're in a weird spot with it right now. But I don't know, it's either they're going to ban them, which is probably what they're going to do, or I think it will even out, and people will come, because that's the thing the free market provides, and well, I mean, the free market does, give this, the competition. And if you put out shit and it's good, people will fuck with it. You might not be able to make a living off of it. You might not be able to, completely survive off of it. But people will fuck with it if it's good and you put shit out. You just have to put shit out.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, the podcasting game right now. You know, and that's the thing too, like Perfume Nationalist, you know, he talks about it all the time, like he works like hospitality jobs, like, you know, Chapo, they're all so like, you know, media elites. You know, I'm pretty sure Virgil used to fucking write for what's that fucking one parody fucking news thing?
Mm.
Uh I forgot. It's some kind of satire news fucking uh publishing place, if you know what I'm talking about.
Mm. I don't
But
know which one you're talking about, but yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's the crazy thing too, is, you know, Amy, I really look up to her because I don't really know much about her background, but it kind of seems like she just fucking got on Twitter and just started saying what she felt, and she made herself this like legendary fucking cult following figure, like political fucking commentator. But you know, she probably has college back. All these fucking people do, you know.
I can't speak specifically because I'm not sure, but and I don't want to like speculate about anyone's life who I like don't know like what their life is. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see all of these like disparate figures pop up, and yeah, I'm excited and I'm glad that all of these different people exist.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, no, that's funny. That's the funny thing too, like, because that's kind of, you know, like the pyramid scheme on fucking BreadTube, where, you know, they come up with this crazy fascist. See, that's the thing with the liberal fucking this one of their numerous psychological operations they've been doing the past years is tricking everybody into thinking, especially with Trump and everything post 2016, you know, tricking everybody into thinking that fascism is on the rise and that that's a fucking problem today in America, and the alt-right, and they're brainwashing your kids on YouTube and shit. And you know, all these people on BreadTube make their money through Patreon, through these individuals, you know, consuming and watching their content, and they honestly like believe, you know, that they're helping, you know, that they're helping the you know, fight fascism or whatever, you know. But it's just crazy too, because, you know, obviously I don't really think subscribing to anybody's Patreon is gonna help bring about the communist revolution or whatever, but I think this fucking the podcast shit right now is way more fucking useful and more of a thing, like being able to just have conversations with people unrestricted and unregulated. Is, I think people should be supporting that. You know, there's this whole joke about, you know, subscribe to the Patreon or whatever, but podcasts, you really should support podcasts you listen to, and it really is too, like, not that much to become a like $5 patron of a few of your favorite podcasts. You know, it really fucking helps.
I like podcasting as a format a lot, and I really get a kick out of it. Like I really enjoy doing my podcast. I still make videos though, and I really enjoy the freedom that the visual medium gives one as well. And like, especially the more I've sort of moved away from the old BreadTube video essay kind of style, the more sort of creatively fulfilling it is. And
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of working to sort of push what I can do with YouTube as like a medium as well, because I feel like, you know, the dissident position is so underrepresented on YouTube. On YouTube you have like bog standard like
Oh my
right
god, the
wing
fucking the
bullshit.
serfs.
Yeah, you have like bog
I used
standard
to be
like
friends with them, man. That's so funny.
yeah, they're like horrible. I don't like them at all.
They're
They have like
horrible.
yeah, they're terrible. So you either have like bog standard like bullshit like rad lib stuff like that on YouTube, like BreadTube stuff, or you have like bog standard right wing like fucking bullshit
Yeah,
or
no, I'm
whatever.
so glad we have you. Like, because when I look at the BreadTube world, oh my god, like I think if there is anyone out there, you know, they're not very big or making any waves at all. Like, you're literally one of the only person I can think of who comes from the BreadTube fucking world, you know, milieu or
Spectress
whatever,
too.
and is
There's also
cool.
Spectress as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Spectress is great.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm actually
She's
cool with
me and
them.
her are the only two really outside of the BreadTube world who are sort of representing the dissident perspectives on YouTube. And
Is she
both of
still
us
making
came out of
videos and shit?
BreadTube, which is really funny. We both emerged from that when back in our like shit lib, like 23-year-old idiot days or whatever. Like we were like on the BreadTube train, and then we sort of came out of it and have kind of done a revamp and evolution of everything. But yeah, she's great, and she's the
Yeah, I
only other
think
one
she
I
told me
can.
that you guys used to hang out,
Oh
actually,
no,
or
yeah,
some
we're
shit.
mates. We're mates.
No shit. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
we're mates. We're good mates. What was I saying? Yeah, she's the only one who else who I can think of who's like actually worth a damn on YouTube. Everyone else isn't someone who I like really engage with or think that their work is particularly like novel or interesting.
Well, what about Peter?
Uh I don't know. I don't really want to go into Peter at the moment. Like
I
that's a
don't.
whole
Okay,
that's a
okay.
whole other
I don't really
issue.
know even what any of the drama is, if there is any.
It's not really like anything that's like worth writing home about. There's no real drama on my end. There seems to be drama on Peter's end, but like any drama that there was has long since like, lost any relevance for me. But yeah, it was just like differences in approach and opinion, and he couldn't really handle that, and like kind of threw it a huge hissy fit. But yeah,
No
it's been
shit.
part of
And that's
me.
why he's doing his own shit now.
Yeah, it's really, I don't know. I mean, I wish him all the best of luck in that sense. Like, good on him. But like, yeah, it's just like, it was like a silly thing, and like, differences in like perspective and like approach. But like, I guess like he felt injured by the fact that I had different perspective and like approach. And I'd been working with him for like many years, and
Yeah, fucking. I remember your guys' like Vampire Castle video.
yeah, I've been
Yo,
working for him for many years, but
that's some OG shit right there. Real heads
yeah,
know
but it
that
got
reference.
I got tired of I got tired of like trying to push him to be more adventurous in terms of what he was willing to explore, and like you can't get away with just saying neoliberalism ad nauseum, you know. Like, well, that's all I'm gonna say on that. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't even have to get into it at all, but you know,
It's
it
all
didn't
good.
matter. Yeah, I mean, I was watching some of your video. I was watching how validation ruined your life, narcissism and social justice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like there was like one of the notes I took from there, like what I just thought was so true and really like speaks to like, because there's just such this meme with like there's like the working class people, and there's the political world, which is all shit lib, bourgeoisie ideology, and regular working people are totally not involved or care about like validation, and like poor people aren't running around talking about validation and their identities or
Mhm.
whatever, and it's like they don't have the time or whatever, or they just don't come from that culture, maybe it's a cultural thing. But that meme where it's like workers of the world unite, or like workers come join us, and it's like the cartoon drawings of like leftist looking people or whatever. If you
Yeah.
yeah, like that's kind of a huge part of the of kind of like the dissident left shit is and like the kind of anti-left shit is kind of this idea that like working class people are completely not involved in this whole universe that you guys have created about around like validation and all these rules and crazy horseshit. But I just thought that was like a really interesting point, because it really just encapsulates totally like really the problem with like this bourgeoisie fucking liberal ideology today, and how that has became like the mainstream fucking ideology. And
Hmm.
even the fucking right is so like scared of and like so like they're so like willing to like be cool and act cool because you know they're already thinking in their mind that you know you look at them as like a fascist or whatever just because
Mhm.
they're like a conservative. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But
Mhm.
the liberal kind of fucking ideology today and how it became so mainstream, you know, and fucking you know, see, that's the thing too. I get in arguments and shit because some of my, you know, sometimes we do see, you know, we'll get on the Instagram or whatever on our meme page where we, you know, our podcast page on Instagram, and we'll see like, you know, people on there, and there are like these kind of working class kids, you know, they're not fucking these New York elite, fuck media elite kids, you know, that have parents that are involved in all this bullshit or whatever. But they have like all the flag, they have like, you know, their pronouns in their bio and shit like that, you know, and they're not like rich, you know, they're not too rich. So that's what's scary was me and my friend were like, fuck dude, like this he him, like they them pronouns, liberal bourgeoisie ideology shit is even seeping into like people we know in real life, putting
Mhm.
pronouns in their bio and shit. It's fucking scary. But
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have to do it for like their jobs now and stuff. Like,
no way.
yeah, in the UK as well. Like, you know, it's
No
like,
fucking way.
yeah,
I mean maybe some media job where you're like, I mean, see, that's this thing with me. Like when I think about like fucking like the South, which is really where a lot of my people are from, and like we're like Middle America and shit. We totally like, you know, most jobs, you know, you don't even need a Twitter. You know,
yeah,
like it's like physical labor, poor people jobs.
yeah.
Um, it's hard for me to fucking imagine a job making you put your pronouns in your bio. That is some funny shit.
Yeah, like if like media jobs and stuff and like all this other, they can put like subtle pressure on you. Like I have a couple of friends who like work in the media or different like media fields and that like have been like sort of subtly coerced by their jobs to like put their pronouns in their bio basically. Um
It's like we
which is like
highly advise you to put your pronouns in your bio.
yeah, it's like a very sort of it's like it's almost shocking. It's almost shocking like but then again, am I surprised? It's like where we're at right now. But yeah, like a lot of it is like in that video specifically was sort of a summation of the um, kind of antisocial mode that I had like observed on the left.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I was kind of partly inspired after having read Christopher Lash's Culture of Narcissism to kind of marry that critique to the observations that I had, you know, made while operating in this sort of space. And I wanted to kind of dig specifically into the issue of identity politics and how identity has this like deep narcissistic kind of significance on the left because it kind of like it normally operates as like a narcissistic facade, a grandiose facade to conceal a lot of like deep psychological issues. And I think the reason why they get so defensive around these notions of identity is because they know that if you dig past the narcissistic facade, you get closer to those like deep seated psychological issues that they're like avoiding by taking on these sort of identities in this kind of religious, almost cult like sense, you know?
It's
And yeah,
yeah.
a lot of these people are people who are like in pain or they're like bereft of any kind of like charm or personality. They don't have great social skills. They probably, you know, didn't have very good parents. Like, and they just sort of see this kind of like identity, like making this Faustian bargain with like progressive capitalism is their way of trying to sort of fill the gaping void that exists within them. And a lot of them take it on because they also understand that like it provides them with, you know, institutional perks. And it doesn't provide everybody with institutional perks, but like people who come from like the bourgeoisie are usually the ones who can use identity or weaponize their identity to get institutional perks. And a lot of like the people who do that who are not in the upper echelons feel resentful towards the people who are able to do that because they're upset that they're not capable of doing that themselves. It's such a clusterfuck, and it's like really sad to witness because, you know, the ontological significance that identity has taken on is really concealing a lot of like dysfunction and like pathology that we're also just supposed to pretend that we don't see, because that's the polite thing to do, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Matt Taibbi it reminds me of this really good piece Matt Taibbi has about it's on white fragility. He like reviewed white fragility and the book, and it was just, you know, about how like the fucking critical race theory stuff is so cult like. And even this the liberal bullshit in general, the social progressivism, the kind of validation, you know, the social justice bullshit, it's all so cult like, you know, canceling people. Oh my god, man, you know, the canceling shit, that shit is like crazy cult like. And you know, even the thing with identity, like you're saying, it's so like ontological, it's ontological. And you know, that's the thing with like with cults and how ideology works is like, you know, they do like these fucking ritualistic things, you know, that are not material, you know, they're more of like on like an ideological level or an ontological level, you know. And that's what makes me start fucking thinking about the Alex Jones and the fucking cults and the elites and shit. Some of this shit legitly makes me think it makes me believe in Satanism. I mean, like, no joke.
Yeah, hang on. Did I cut out for a second there? Could you just say the last thing again?
Oh, fucking, oh no, I was just saying, some of this shit makes me, you know, I was talking about like how the critical race theory shit is so like cult like, and then, you know, and you know, the liberal ideology, you know, mainstream, how it's mainstream today with the social justice and the canceling and shit, and how it's so, you know, cult like. And it makes me believe in like, you know, how Alex Jones talks about how like there are these cults that run the world, you know what I mean, and they like sacrifice babies and shit. Some of this shit, you know, when I see some of this fucking, you know, crazy gender ideology shit, it literally makes me believe in Satanism, that Satanism is actually real, and these motherfuckers are out to get us.
That's the thing, like the Faustian bargain has now become real because of the internet and like the opportunity to sell your soul is like available around every corner. You know, now you can sell your integrity, you can sell your sense of ideology, you can sell whatever it is in order to gain attention and access.
You can sell your fucking bot pictures of yourself,
you
you
can
know,
sell pictures of your
OnlyFans.
body.
Yes,
You can
see,
sell
that's
your
the
ass on
thing.
OnlyFans. You can sell. You're incentivized to make the Faustian bargain every time you log on. Like it's a choice. It's almost like a binary choice between like remaining in your integrity or doing things that you know will bring you like more attention,
Right.
or more notoriety, or bring you more social capital, or bring you more validation. And all of these different narcissistic desires within us are constantly stirred and like titillated by the environments that we're in. And you know, people go towards what feels pleasurable for them, you know. So that's the reason why you see this kind of unholy this kind of unholy like pall casting itself across like, you know, our culture.
Right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, it's neoliberalism made it to where, you know, it is incentivizing you to sell or commoditize more and more of yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, and how it's like, yeah, oh my god, it's just so funny. Like there's this fucking meme where it's like a neoliberalism time or some shit in like the 1980s or some shit, or it like showed like workers. It's so hard to fucking explain a meme that's so funny, but it's like these workers, it's like neoliberalism time, and then it's like, you know, like 20-30 years later we have like OnlyFans and fucking Bill Clinton and fucking all this shit. And it's like you know, like OnlyFans, you know, like it really does, you know, that's the thing is people start to think it sounds you know, like people like me that talk about this kind of shit, that we sound like a little conspiratorial when we say these things are connected.
Mm-hmm.
But I totally think these things are connected, and they're totally pushing these things culturally on purpose, you know.
Yeah.
And like the sex trafficking shit with OnlyFans and all that shit, I totally think there has to be something fucking going on.
Well,
This
that's because
technocratic crazy shit.
it's because everything that the quote unquote left does, all the sort of cultural demands that they make seem to always work in tandem with whatever the system is already doing. So
Exactly.
as the economy worsens and like people are pushed into more and more precarious work, why not push to normalize sex work to an entire generation of young women who are precarious and seeking routes of economic access? Like, you know, instead of like us facing the issues we have as a society, we just
And this
like,
is all particularly post 2008 economic crash.
yeah, like, but instead of like dealing with the issues we have in society, why not just continue to pose and drum up these neoliberal solutions while sort of covering them with a moral cover of like this radical social justice, like veneer or whatever? That's precisely what's happening. It doesn't necessarily have to be this huge conspiratorial thing. It's just like the system doing what is expedient for itself. And the left are basically like the foot soldiers for the system. They're like the shock troops of progressive capitalism. So yeah, all of their cultural agenda is always working in lockstep.
Well, yeah, you see, I agree. I totally think that, but no, like when you start to say the fucking left is, you know, and the left is a whole fucking psyop and shit too, you know, and that they're being used in this whole fucking conspiracy. It, you know, well, that's the thing too, is like, what the fuck are people talking about? You know, we sound conspiratorial. This is a fucking conspiracy. You know, this shit is literally, you know, people are literally running pyramid schemes and shit. And but that's the idea too, is that's what people, you know, always wonder, is like, are the elites really in a smoky back room fucking planning OnlyFans and shit like that, and like, planning it all out, or do these things kind of just like happen naturally, culturally,
I think that
wide scale?
the sort of patterns have been set, in my opinion. And I think that, you know, like I said, like the left just sort of is like the generator of moral consent for whatever the system is already doing. And the system is becoming more and more unhinged and monstrous as each year, day, week goes by. And I feel like what the left does is sort of manufacture consent, manufacture moral cover for whatever progressive capitalism is like already doing. Um, you know, which is why I think there seems to be like a congruity and like unity between what we see unfolding and like the agenda of the left, the cultural agenda of the left. But, you know, that's my speculation. You know, anything else could be true, but that's just kind of how I see it.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, and I think it totally makes sense too. I mean, when you look at a lot of the people that are successful, you know, and let's say in the BreadTube world, you know, it's people like Vosh. Vosh is kicking ass right now. Actually, he's been really fucking kicking ass. Um, but he totally is like, you know, the porno brain. Like, he culturally embodies this idea of like the neoliberal subject, like fucking, you know, like Discord fucking weirdo, like gamer content creator.
Totally atomized and like, you know, thinks about horse dicks on his off.
Oh my god, what the fuck? See, that's why we don't have a Discord. It's just because we don't even want anyone else in there saying crazy shit associated with us. That is so
That's like the
fucking
thing.
funny.
That's the thing, that he is sort of the perfect neoliberal subject, and like I said, what they're there to do is manufacture consent for
Yeah,
whatever.
no, Vosh is the ultimate leftist.
Yeah, he is the
Vosh is
ultimate
the
leftist.
ultimate leftist. Yes, the vote for Biden, Vosh.
Like he basically, because I remember he called me out in like one of his streams, and he was like,
Oh,
Angie's
no
not a
shit.
real leftist. He was like, Angie Speaks isn't a real leftist. And actually that was probably the best thing that could have happened to me, because I realized
Wow.
that
When
like
was this? When
no,
was
actually
this?
I'm not. Like, you can have it, like fuck you. Like, you can have it. Like,
Yeah, I'm not like,
being a
fuck you.
leftist
Like, I'm
means,
not even part of the left. Fuck that.
yeah, if being a leftist means like what you do, just
Then
constantly
I'm not a
manufacturing
leftist.
consent, for what the system does, and I don't want anything to fucking
You
do
don't
with
want
that
anything
shit.
to do with it, right?
No, fuck
Exactly.
you. Like, you can fucking have it. Like,
When did he
goodbye.
call you out on his stream? When was this?
Huh?
When did he call you out on his stream? You
It was
said.
like last year at some point. I don't remember specifically.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was like really funny because he was like, "Oh, she's a class reductionist or whatever the
Oh
fuck."
my God, this shit.
And
No,
like,
can you believe that was a year ago
yeah,
with this Voss shit?
yeah. It was like, so it's like, it's silly or whatever. Of course, he's gonna soar to the top of the hierarchy because he's
Oh
doing
my
exactly
God, yeah.
what you're incentivized to do, like to a T. Like, he's doing it unabashedly, unashamedly. So of course,
Unashamedly, yes. Like
yeah.
no shame in his game.
But he's doing it unabashedly and unashamedly, and he's doing exactly what he's incentivized to do. And it will yield a lot of like material like benefit from him, but I don't think it's going to yield much fulfillment or happiness in the long run because now he's totally deadlocked to that demographic, and
Oh
that
my God, I couldn't
demographic is
imagine
one of
being a
the
streamer
worst.
either. That must be
Yeah,
so retarded.
they're,
Jesus
they're
fucking
like the
Christ.
worst, most unhinged demographic.
They're the worst people.
Yeah, like they're the worst.
Hassan Piker. That
And
guy fucking
they always
sucks.
have their like knives out to like knife whoever once that
Well,
person
dude,
knows.
their whole thing is like they run their shit off like conflict and like
Yeah,
beef and debate.
yeah,
Their whole thing, the whole streaming guys, the debate
yeah.
bro culture shit.
Yeah, but that's like such a contentious thing, and it only has so much that it can offer in that sense. But he's like arm in arm, lockstep in with the most unhinged demographics. So it's going to be interesting to see how he navigates that in the coming years. Good
Yes, it
luck to
will
him.
be.
I wish him the best. I wish him the best, as
Yeah.
Trump would say. But yeah,
Shout
other
out to
than that, it's
Vosh.
not really something that I think about. Like, I try to like avoid like the whole BreadTube thing, and like I try not to pay too much attention to it because it's like
Kind of
it's
over with
dirt.
now, don't you think? Like I remember it was getting a lot of I think that just the word BreadTube I think was getting like articles written about it and shit.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that kind of died down a little bit of the BreadTube craze.
Yeah, it's dead, especially now that Trump is no longer in office.
Right? Yeah.
Nothing to scaremonger about
Nothing to
anymore.
scaremonger about.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that is so fucking real. You can
Yeah, they have
really.
got nothing to scaremonger about. Like, Richard Spencer voted for Biden.
Oh my fucking God.
Like, they've got nothing to scaremonger about.
Me and my friend were just talking about that, man, and it's like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, they have nothing to scaremonger about. They're like desperately searching for some new specter to chase, which is why they tried to sort of drum up the whole post-left thing. But then when they realized that none of the people who they label as actually have anything in common, they realized it would look incoherent to make into a specter, so they kind of backed off. But I think they're still going to try to find a way to like attempt to bait people into like these silly like useless struggle sessions with them, and I hope that people are smart enough to not take the bait. Because the more like this sort of thing, the only way that you can really deal with it, it's like when you're dealing with a narcissist, like the only way you win is by not playing, which is what I think a lot of people who are on the dissident side don't realize. They think that by playing that it could give them a chance to sort of nullify these sort of cultural and discourse excesses of like these people, but really and truly the only way you can really win is by not playing, because these people they're not interested in like the excavation of ideas or principled and
or rules or principles. Yeah, they're not worried about playing by the rules.
In, like, high drama spectacles.
You can't win with these
media
people.
posturing. Yeah. So like the only way that you can really win is by not playing.
Not playing, exactly. Yeah. That's why people fucking hated us. Well, really, our meme page, like we have a meme page that we promote the podcast with, with Instagram and shit. So, that kind of, got, good amount of attention, and we got pretty like incorporated into the mix pretty quickly or whatever. But goddamn, what was I saying? something about this fucking. Oh yeah, that was yeah. That was like too, man. It's just we didn't play by their rules, you know. Like we said what we wanted to say. We, you know, we just we didn't play by the rules, and you know they'll come for you. You know, if you
Yeah.
don't play by the rules, they will come for you.
Yeah.
You know, and another thing too. I mean, is if you're making any money, you know, you have your Patreon linked or whatever, they really look at that as like an excuse that like to really fuck with you too.
Mhm.
You know, if you're you know profitizing off all this you know shit.
Mhm. In what way do you mean?
In what ways? What?
Like, in what way to try to fuck with you if you're monetizing
Oh,
your podcast?
okay. Well, what ways do they fuck with you? Well, I mean, fucking, they get like group chats and they try to fucking, you know, get your shit, get your account shadow banned. Also, get in group chats and they will go down your following list and message people crazy shit. You know, I bet I have
Oh yeah,
some.
that's happened to me. Yeah,
Yes,
I've had even
yes.
worse shit. I've been doxxed and like hacked and like
I haven't
I
been
because my
hacked.
PayPal was
Thank
hacked
God.
as well, and
Oh,
like
your
the
Patreon?
what? Say that again?
You said your Patreon got hacked?
No, my PayPal.
Oh, fuck.
And that was like back when I was like a tiny baby BreadTuber and I didn't even know
Wow.
it would work. Like I didn't like it was like someone who was a Patreon of mine got accused of some shit like 10 years ago. And then they decided because I didn't immediately drop them as a Patreon that I was like doing rape apologia. So there was this like
Right.
huge campaign that was like launched against me and like I was like fucking bombarded and like hacked and it was crazy. It was absolutely like,
Wow.
insane, like the shit that was going on. And yeah, they are very coordinated and very
I know
organized.
these fucking people are sick. They're
Yeah, they're
obsessed.
really really sick and like obsessive. But the thing is, the further away you are from it, the less it matters to you,
See,
and
that's the thing.
the
They
least
see me
attached
not
you
be
are to
phased
it.
about it, and that probably pissed him off so much worse.
Yeah, it does, and especially the fact that I'm still standing as well and that I'm still here
Oh
and
yeah,
that
they you know
people.
what they told me? Like I remember they literally like, you know, they're like anonymous too. You know, they'll come and like fuck with you and message you and crazy scary shit sometimes too. Send you pictures of your house of like houses and shit. Scary fucking shit, these people. But you know, like they'll find your shit on Google Maps or some shit anyway. But you know, I've had these people message me and just say, look, you know, we just want you to delete your account. We just want you to not be in our space anymore, and we'll stop like harassing you and harassing
That's
your friends.
crazy.
Yes, scary fucking shit. And I'm pretty sure I have no idea who any of these people are in real life.
It's just antisocial people who are
Fucking
using,
weirdo people, yeah.
yeah, weirdo antisocial people who are using like social justice as a vehicle for their antisocial impulses. I've experienced it as well, and it's not pleasant when you run into like antisocial people who make it their business to make your life hell. But like I said, the further you are away from it, the less it matters. And like they can't do anything to me now, which is like and I can say whatever the fuck I want. Like they've canceled me,
Yeah,
people have
right.
unfollowed me, people have taken away their patronage, people have
Yes,
like fucking
these
called me
people will get
every
people to
name under the
unfollow
sun.
us on
Wait, say that again.
Instagram. They will message people and say, "Hey, you're following like a white supremacist," you know,
Yeah, they do that. They do their little
yeah, and
propaganda
they will they will
campaign.
they will literally get people to unfollow you. It's fucking
Yeah,
hilarious. Do you know who Hunter Gex is?
yeah.
Music group. Well, Laura Les, you know, the one out of the two of the fucking Hunter Gex fucking, she used to follow us, and these people got harassed this fucking girl enough to unfollow us.
Oh my
they
god.
they would harass and at her and shit all the time and say like that I'm transphobic or because she's trans or some shit. I don't fucking know, but you know you know, I'm obviously not fucking transphobic. We have fucking, you know, there's fans of the show that are fucking trans, like whatever, you know. And but anyway, they harassed this fucking girl enough in which they finally got her to unfollow us.
Wow. Yeah, it's
Crazy
happened to
shit.
me. It's happened to me as well. Like they'd start their little whisper campaign. They start putting pressure on people where they force you to cancel, otherwise you get canceled. It's like the cancel or be canceled thing.
Yeah,
But
because
the
you know,
thing
they
is,
just if
the more
10
you,
people get together and they make multiple fake accounts, it can look like a lot of people are messaging you.
Yeah, but it's stupid though, because like they really have no power beyond the noise that they're able to generate. And they're so upset that people like us are allowed to exist. So like we just have to keep busting their balls. And especially now, there's like very little to lose for me, for me at this point. So I can do pretty much whatever the fuck I want.
That's the
And I
real
say
freedom.
pretty much whatever the fuck I want as well. And I love that. I love that. And I love the fact that it upsets them. I love the fact that it agitates their demons. It's supposed to. And there's really fuck all that they can do about it, except like whine and cry and bitch and moan and complain. But really and truly, like I try to focus my energies like on what I enjoy and like my work and the stuff that I think is important to put out in the world. So I don't spend too much time like thinking about these people. I don't let them take up unnecessary like space in my head. But at the same time, whenever they do decide to kick off or like throw tantrums, it's just funny to me now. And it always ends up increasing my my reach at the end of the day. Like the more they scream,
of course they make you famous.
Yeah, the more they make you famous. So it's like, whatever.
Because they're so powerless, they have to get off somehow, with some little form of power that they have. Like Amy even said, she was like, on one of some episode I was listening to her on, she was like, you know what, these people are particularly mad at people like us because they kind of like deep down inside want to say these things we're saying. They want to be cool. They want to be like fucking dissident. It's cool to be counterculture and not go against, but that's the thing, is they're scared to do it, and so they won't do it. So if they see you doing it, they're gonna fucking be upset because they can't do it. They're too scared to do it.
Yeah, they're resentful. They're resentful that we live happier and more honest and more fulfilling lives than they ever could hope to. And like that's their fault. They made their beds.
I couldn't imagine being just a little crazy, obsessed, angry person on the internet. Jesus fucking Christ, that sounds miserable.
Life is too short, and there's too much weed to smoke, and there's too much beer to drink, and there's too much like fun things to do out in the world to be like brittle and
fellow weed smoker on the pod. Angie Speaks, outed herself as a pot smoker.
Yeah, why not? Why
Exposed.
not?
Space inside your skull. You know what's going on every night. Everywhere so international. Upside down cross in a jumbotron. Wait up, hold on. Blowing and break off my palm. Say what? Yo, switch stance, face plant. They pump all your starters. Flatland, a plug pulling us out turbulence charters. Speaking abbreviations because real life conversation moves too slow. The media's creation, yeah, your free will has been taken and you don't know. Fuck yourself, choke yourself. Culture shock, just talk. Fuck yourself, choke yourself. Culture shock, just talk. Fuck yourself, choke yourself. Never seen without when I heard she's a satanic priestess. Anarchy on life, big black fly faceless, deep leaders. Throwing it down low and rapping Orion's bell. Atlantis, ancient vagina, getting dusty on the shelf. After the pigs don't get it, no hands, I'm shattering jaws. Double nickels on the dime, buckle and collect my balls. Culture shock, fuck yourself, choke yourself. What you gonna be when you're grown, young blood? Gonna be a helpless wrong. Won't ever have to think, though your head will be linked directly to your cell phone. The virus is alive, I can see it in your eye. The infection is full blown. Career killer, double decker, packed with suicidal vibes. For on fear in a filthy dream about splitting your bitch's